Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to a new session of your social science children, where we are going to see about a new geography lesson, right? It is going to be a very interesting lesson and it is all about our country, India, the location and the physical divisions. So, the way our country is being, the structure of the country, the physical features of the country, what are all the features available in the country, all these things we are going to see in this lesson, right? So, first let us know about our country. We know that our country is a vast, very big country, yes, and it has a great geographical and cultural variations. We know that the states are of different areas, different sizes, different places. Yes, we speak different languages. We have various cultures being followed in our country. The languages, the traditions, the customs, everything is different in our country. So, out of all these diversity, we are united as Indians, right? Yes, so let us get to know more about the physical features of the country and how far our country is located. Have you ever thought about what must be the distance from Kashmir to Kanyakumari? No, we would have not even thought about how much distance is there, what is the total area of the country. We would have not much thought about that. So, let us see about all those details in this lesson. So, India is located on, it is just above the equator, right? India is just above the equator and it is located to the east of prime meridian. So, here you could see the equator line and here you could see the prime meridian line, right? So, India is located here. So, in which hemisphere now India falls? In the hemisphere just above the equator, we call it as northern hemisphere. Then the area just to the east of prime meridian, we call it to be eastern hemisphere, right? So, India is located in northern and eastern hemispheres, and also the Tropic of Cancer, it passes through our country, right? So, we are located above the equator and the Tropic of Cancer, which is 23.5 degree north, right? It passes through our country, right? So, this is the location of our country here. So, it is to the north of equator and east of Greenwich meridian. So, India lies in northern and eastern hemispheres. So, now the Tropic of Cancer, which is 23.5 degrees north, it passes through the center of our country, right? Next, what is the latitudinal and longitudinal measure of our country? So, our country's latitude extends from 8 degree 4 minutes north up to 37 degrees 6 inches north. Okay, 6 minutes north, sorry, 8 degree 4 minutes north up to 37 degree 6 minutes north. Okay, so this is the latitudinal measure. Then how about the longitudinal measure? It is from 68 degrees 7 minutes east up to 97 degrees 25 minutes east, right? So, the longitudinal measure, we know that the various longitudinal lines are passing, latitudinal lines are passing. So, the point where the southernmost point of India is located and the northernmost point of India is located, that is the extent of latitude. The same way westernmost and easternmost point, okay? So, that is the longitudinal extent of our country. So, here from south to north, India extends from 8 degree 4 minutes north, south to north, which means from bottom to the top, okay. So, it is from 8 degrees 4 minutes north to 37 degrees 6 minutes north, okay. So, it is completely in northern hemisphere. So, both measurements will be in north only. Fine. So it is the latitudinal measure. And from west to east, that is from here to here, okay, from left to right. So India extends from 68 degrees 7 minutes east to 97 degree 27 minutes east. So as we have seen that our country is located in northern and eastern hemispheres only, okay. So it is not split between east and west or north and south, okay. It is completely in northern hemisphere, it is completely in eastern hemisphere. So both the latitudinal measures will be in north, the same way both the longitudinal measures will be in east. Fine. Next, the longitudinal extent of India is almost 30 degrees, that is from west to east, it is almost 30 degrees distance. Fine. So because of that, we know that each 15 degree of longitude differs by 1 hour. Hope you remember the lesson lines on a globe which we have studied already. 15 degrees is 1 hour of Earth's rotation, right? So each 15 degree will differ by 1 hour. So as the distance is 30 degrees, okay, so the time difference from the easternmost point and the westernmost point will be 2 hours. Fine. If it is going to be 10 a.m. here, it is going to be 8 a.m. here. Fine. So the difference is therefore 2 hours. So what we did? We chose the middlemost longitude that passes through our country, right? So this time differences has to be managed with the middlemost longitudinal line, yes, that passes through which place? Hope you remember all these things which we have studied in our previous lessons. So this is the place which is Mirzapur in Allahabad, right? So it is 82 degrees and 3 minutes north, right? So sorry, east. So this is the place where the middlemost longitude of the line of the country passes through, and we chose it to be the standard time of the country India, which is Indian Standard Time, IST. Fine. So to avoid confusion within the country, we located this 82 degrees 30 minutes east. Yes, 82 degrees 30 minutes east longitude as the Indian Standard Time. So that passes through the center of India. Now, so we know that India is a peninsular country. Yes, peninsula. What is meant by peninsula? All the 3 sides of water, right? And 1 side land. So we call that to be peninsula. Fine. So here we would have seen the 3 seas around the country. So here comes the Bay of Bengal, right? That is, to the eastern part of the country we have Bay of Bengal, and on the western part of the country we have Arabian Sea. And here the southern part of the country, it is Indian Ocean. Right? So all the 3 sides are being covered by the sea. And what about the northern side? Yes, it is covered by Himalayas. So all the 4 directions, the boundaries, the 3 sides being covered by the sea and 1 side being covered by the land, we call it to be a peninsula. So India is a peninsular country, right? So here you could see Arabian Sea in the map, Bay of Bengal and Indian Ocean, right? And here you could see Himalayas, right? So all these places, the 4 borders of the country, it could be even said as borders because they are completely covering our country. So here you could see Himalayas, here Bay of Bengal, here Indian Ocean, and then Arabian Sea. So this forms the Peninsular India, right? Now, so this is what I've told you now. Surrounded by seas on the three sides, Bay of Bengal on east, Arabian Sea in the west, Indian Ocean in the south, and Himalayas in the north. So this is how our country is covered. Now, we will see the distance from the northernmost point to the southernmost point. The same way, easternmost point to the westernmost point. Let us see the distance. Okay, so from the topmost point of our country, that is from the Kashmir, okay, here. Right, from Kashmir till Kanyakumari here. Our country extends up to 3,214 kilometers, right? 3,214 kilometers from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. So this area is 3,214 kilometers. And then from this westernmost point up to the easternmost point, it is 2,933 kilometers, right? So the distance, the overall extent of the country is from Kashmir, from north to south, it is 3,214 kilometers, and from west to east, it is 2,933 kilometers. So let us see about the places. Here from Kashmir to Kanyakumari in the north, it is 3,214, and from Arunachal Pradesh in the east and up to the Kutch in the west, right? So it is 2,933 kilometers. Hope you remember the word Kutch, the Ran of Kutch, which we have seen in our history lesson also when we studied about Harappan civilization, right? So this is 3,240 and this is 2,933 kilometers. So now we will see about the coastal area of our country. So what do we call this as coastal area? What is meant by coastal area? Coastal area is the place which is located nearby the sea, right? So here you could see the places being marked in black, okay? So these places which are located near the sea, we call it to be a coastal area. So India has a very big coastal area, that is, the distance is like 7,516.6 kilometers, right? So the length of the coastline is 7,516.6 kilometers, which includes the mainland, Lakshadweep Islands and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So I'll show this once again to you. This is the mainland which comes within the boundaries of India. We call it to be the mainland of coastline, right? So this black line shows us the mainland of coastline. So what are all we include when it comes to the coastline of India? We also include this Lakshadweep Islands. Right? And also we include Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Right? So all these, this entire area, this Lakshadweep and this Andaman and Nicobar, all together the coastal India is 7,516.6 kilometers, right? So a very big coastal area. So here that is what we have seen already. Now the total area of the country is 3.28 million square kilometers. Then it is the 7th largest country in the world in terms of area, okay. So this is the 7th largest country in the world, and in terms of population we are the 2nd largest country in the world. So what is the first country in population? Yes, it is China. right? So we've understood about the location and extent of the country. So now we are going to see about the neighbors of our country. So whom do we call a neighbor? Yes, a person or a family who is next to our house, we call them as a neighbor. Why do we call them as a neighbor? Because we share a common boundary, okay? So sharing a common boundary for us when it comes to home, we say it to be a compound wall, okay? There will be a compound wall which is common to our house and the next house, always, yes? So that is how two different places or people who are sharing a common boundary, we call them to be neighbors. So now we are going to see who are all the neighbors of our country. So which means the borders of our country which is being shared by the other countries, we call them to be the neighbors of India. So let us see who are all the neighbors of our country. We have Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Sri Lanka and China. Right? So all these countries are the neighbors of India. So let us see in which direction which country is located as our neighbor now. So here you could see there are many countries that share their borders with India. So they are our neighbors, right? So here you could see Pakistan and Afghanistan, they lie in the west and northwest of India, right? So here you could see Pakistan and here you could see Afghanistan. So they share their boundaries with India. Here you could see Afghanistan sharing their boundary, right? And here these areas fully you could see which is being shared with Pakistan, right? So on the west and northwest, Pakistan and Afghanistan is located. Then here China, Nepal and Bhutan are located in north and northeast of our country. So here the entire place you could see which is being occupied by China, and here this boundary is being occupied by Nepal, and here this is Bhutan, right? So China, Nepal and Bhutan is in the north and the northeast of our country. Next, Bangladesh and Myanmar lie to the east of India. So here the easternmost part of the country, here you could see Bangladesh here and Myanmar here, right? So they are located to the eastern part of India. Next, Sri Lanka, which lies to the south of India. Sri Lanka lies to the southernmost part of the India, but it is separated by the Pak Strait, okay, that runs between India and Sri Lanka. So we should understand what is meant by strait. Okay, so here you could see India gets over here and Sri Lanka is here, right? So this in between place we call it to be Pak Strait. So strait means it is a very narrow waterway that connects two big water seas or oceans, okay? So a small narrow waterway that connects the huge water sources. So what are the two other water sources then? So here we have seen that Bay of Bengal is there, yeah, and here we have seen about Indian Ocean, right? So this Pak Strait acts as a connection between Bay of Bengal and Indian Ocean, right? So that we call it to be strait. Okay, so Pak Strait is located between India and Sri Lanka. So that separates India from Sri Lanka, right? So that is what we have seen about the neighbors, right? We have done with the neighbors. So now we are going to see about the administrative divisions or the political divisions of our country. So we know that we have 29 states and 7 union territories and 740 districts we have in our country. So let us not worry about the districts for now. We are just going to see about the states and union territories. So when it comes to states and union territories, as I told you, 29 states and 7 union territories. So union territories, who are taking care of these union territories? They are under the direct control of the union government, right? So union government, that is, union territories are under the direct administration of union government. So union government is nothing but central government. Yes, so these union territories are under the control of central government directly. Next, as we know, New Delhi is the capital of our country, national capital. We have separate capitals for each and every state, and then the largest state of our country is Rajasthan and the smallest state of our country is Goa, right? So here you could see in the map each and every state being mentioned with the capital, and here New Delhi alone is being marked with red, which means it is the country's capital. And each and every state, it has its own capital, which is being marked by a black dot, right? So here you could see Bhubaneswar, here you could see Raipur, Bhopal, Lucknow, like this. All the states has its own capital. And the biggest state of our country is Rajasthan. And the smallest state of our country is Goa. Could you even locate where the Goa is? Here, a very small state of our country, right? So with this we have come to the end of this first session, children. See you again in the next session with more about the physical features of the country. We are going to see a very interesting part. We have already completed about the major landforms of the country, right? Not only country, we have learnt about the major landforms, plains, plateaus and mountains, and even deserts we have seen. So we are going to see in detail about what are all the mountains, what are all the plateaus, what are all the deserts and plains, rivers, seas, what are all the physical features we have in our country in the next session. Thank you. To receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.